Hey, party people. Welcome back to MB2 Underground. I am Sarah Kiefer here with Joe Fox. Joseph, how's it hanging?
Hanging well. Thank you for asking. I appreciate it. Good to see you.
You as well.
As always, Sarah. So we've got a very, very special treat today. We are about to speak with a very special person to the whole MB2 community, but to me in particular.
Yeah,
this
absolutely.
Is the very first successful partnership that I worked on in my business development capacity.
This is a full circle moment for you, Joe.
Full circle. And very, very big MB2 HQ fan favorite.
Thank you.
Can I just say, before you
please.
introduce her, that the first time we bonded was over how hard it is to pee on an airplane in a jumpsuit.
Yep.
So she's a fan favorite of mine as well.
She gets it.
Just want to make that known.
Yeah, she's a person of the people. So without further ado, I would love to introduce Dr. Amy Jokin Okun from Tempe, Arizona.
Oh gosh, what is this?
What's up? It's Dr. Amy Okun, and I ain't joking. Partnered with MB2. They're the best at what they do. She's
What is happening?
And his son Dylan is too. CEO of dentistry. He's pretty damn cool. And there's a daughter, Sammy, full of like sweet as candy. Dr. Amy's a super mom. You know she got it going on. She takes care of her patients. Smiles right up the roof. Come join the fun and family of MB2. 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 Yeah. Join the fun and the family of MB2.
Oh yeah. That is true.
Okay.
MB2 love
I need
right there.
some background on that.
So Dr. Okun wrote this shingle rhyme poem.
Yeah,
I guess all three.
I was asked to be a guest, and I'm so excited. And honestly, I was hoping for a dance intro, but I couldn't have the dance, so
We can just
I got a jingle.
slice that in.
Oh, you danced, girl.
I
danced.
I just like that you were more. I'm a co-host, and you're more prepared than I am.
But didn't you also write a poem for the entire executive team like the week after you partnered? You did.
I did.
Yes.
I may have.
Just
I'll
did
tell
you?
you what
Yes.
I did do, because I had to be congratulated over Zoom that I had a confetti popper.
You
Oh
did.
my
I remember
gosh.
that.
I think
was-
you may be my spirit animal.
Thank you.
Wait, so is poetry like a passion of yours?
No, not at all. Actually, a rap.
Yeah.
Oh, I beg your
Rhymes.
pardon.
kidding.
She knows how to rhyme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but literally, we had somebody read this rhyme to the entire executive
Yes.
team during our Monday morning or Monday afternoon pipeline call.
Yeah. I like to make a presence.
I love that.
Thank you.
I feel like we need to go find that and like add it to the video. Just like overlay it so we can all read it together.
We can find it. I've got an email somewhere.
When was that?
Yeah.
So
I am telling you, I literally had my bottle of champagne, my flute, and a confetti popper. And I had the execs on the other side because we weren't doing in person. And Joe apologized that it was. And so I said, well, here goes. And I popped
That's
the
the
confetti
spirit.
all over me.
Here goes.
Yeah. It was fun. Best decision.
awesome.
Love it. You
Awesome.
can make your own party.
So I met Dr. Okun in late 2021, ended up partnering in early 2022.
Yes.
So let me ask you, just to kick it off a little bit
Yes.
or rewind a tiny bit, what is it like being a third generation dentist?
I love it. It's in the blood. It's in the genes. It's fun. I'm fortunate. I love what I do. I love creating smiles, and
Awesome.
I grew up around it.
Yeah.
I do not think my children will become a dentist, which is pretty sad,
Why?
but maybe. Well, Dylan's,
Yeah.
business. And Sammy, she says that she doesn't want to work in people's mouths. She would
That's
like
fair.
to consider
Valid
being
concern.
a doctor. So we'll see. I know. I say just do something you love because it makes it
Yeah,
so
that's
much
huge.
more fun.
Yeah.
So what was the moment that you knew like you wanted to be a dentist? You grew up with your grandfather's dentist, your dad, your uncle. You worked in your father's practice, correct?
Correct. And honestly, I wanted to be an allergist. I suffered from severe
Interesting.
asthma
I
and
didn't know that.
allergies as a kid. And I also wanted to be a doctor. And then as I was in school, talking to family friends, they said the medical community, medicine's changed.
Yeah.
It's kind of unfortunately changed, and insurance was dictating treatment, and the doctors were being paid differently and treating differently. They had to treat maybe their well check was 5 minutes, where it used to be able to sit on a couch and talk.
Yep.
So I started really thinking about maybe dentistry would be so much
Interesting.
easier. Growing up, my dad had so much freedom. He was at every soccer game or whatever I needed. So I feel with dentistry, it was less demanding, and being a mom. So I started weighing the pros and cons and started really considering dentistry.
So Dr. Noka, I have a few kids, and the nature versus nurture debate is always so incredibly fascinating for me, right? I was the oldest of four, so I had a big family too, but now I have a big family with 5 kiddos, and so I'm always fascinated of what it is, right? Exactly. And so I have to think that there is some element of entrepreneurship, and maybe a very large element, that is genetic, right? I mean, what do you think? I mean,
I agree. I think also the independence, growing up and being told, be independent, get a job that you will love and that you can take care of yourself and your children. You don't need to rely on anyone. Find something, and being exposed. But yeah, I agree. I don't know if I could have worked for somebody else.
Interesting.
And my son feels the same way and have learned that at a young age.
Yeah.
I do think it's interesting that your father was a dentist, and you're talking about what he instilled in you. I think as like a girl growing up with my dad, he was always like, make sure that you're not reliant on anybody.
Exactly.
Make sure you know how to change a tire. Still don't know how to change a tire.
We'll help
Make
you
sure
with
that you can be independent, and like he instilled buying my own house. I feel like that also, the father-daughter dynamic, I think probably along with the genetics is the nurture part.
I agree. So, and just being instilled the confidence that you can do it. So the nurture, and I think it's both, but genetics definitely probably is.
And you said you worked in the practice. What were you doing?
Let me tell you. I
Let's
don't
hear
know.
the origin
I loved
story.
answering the phones,
Oh, I
but they
bet you did.
hated when I answered the phones. I was very disruptive, which I did not mean to be disruptive. I was answering the phones, but then I asked them about their day, and
I don't like disruptive. I like sociable.
yeah, sociable is a much better
I like
word.
energizing.
I agree. That was my name. I was the Energizer Bunny.
That tracks.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
I can see that.
So Doctor, tell us about the concept of Okunizing, and specifically what transition or what changed when you took over your father's
Yes.
practice,
Because I just heard the word Okunizing 10
which
minutes
is
ago.
awesome. We're
Yeah,
gonna patent that.
I I like very orderly and organized, and I like systems in place. So Okunizing meanings I came in and wanted to modernize the practice. My father is a fabulous dentist. He was so good, and he also was able to talk to everyone, and the patients loved talking to him, and he was so warm and very honest, and he had a great reputation.
Yeah.
But, it just needed to be modernized. Now, what I wanted
Okunized.
was to walk in and have a koi pond. I wanted to walk in on glass and have fish under your feet swimming.
Okay, big
But
dreamer.
he did ask me to tone it down and come down to reality.
I was just thinking Thomas would have a field day with that. Like, what happens if the glass breaks and then there's
I
like
know.
fish everywhere?
So I thought that would be so fun and different. And then you get to watch the fish, and thick glass for the people
Obviously.
that want to make sure the fish were okay. They wouldn't feel any stress.
That was me.
But
Pete is coming after us.
exactly. So I, just wanted to modernize it. And I really wanted somebody to give foot massages. I didn't win that one. I definitely had.
I'm a great foot massager.
Oh,
I'm in.
that's
I
good
got
to
you.
know. See,
Yeah.
I thought it
And
would
I
be
love
fun
Tempe,
while you're
so
getting your teeth worked on
This
and get a
got
foot
weird.
massage.
Makes total sense.
I hate
So,
feet.
Anyway,
That sounds like my nightmare.
Thomas might have an issue with that. We might have to run it by
my
him.
dad was doing, the team members would not clock in and clock out on a computer. They would write it down on a
Old
piece of
school,
paper,
baby.
old school.
Old
They would
school.
write down their hours, hand it to him, and then he would write the check. So I just wanted to modernize it.
Can you? What
bring it
time frame are we
current.
in right now? Like, what year is this?
Really, you need to get my age?
Oh,
I'm
sorry.
just kidding, Sarah.
Never ask a lady her age.
I Believe it or not, I've been practicing 20 years.
Wow.
Wow.
I know.
Congrats.
Thank you. So 20 years ago, I started practicing with my father.
Okay.
And he said, I would love to be partners with you. He did have another partner at the time. And the partner said, I will not be partners with two. I will only be partners with one. So my father said, this is a dream of mine that has come true.
Right.
So the partner left.
Boy, bye.
Bye-bye. And then he actually ended up stopped practicing a year later, but we'll stop there. So with all of that, hold on, excuse me. Okunizing was just, I wanted systems in place. So now that I have a second practice, the first thing I wanted to do was Okunize it and go in and just get systems in place. So everyone, if this happens, this is how we deal with it. If this happens, this is what we do. I just I don't want chaos.
Yeah.
Well, and it sounds like your journey is very going into something that's established and like sprucing it up versus like
Exactly.
building something from the ground up.
Absolutely. I think I enjoy that a little bit more.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like the challenge, and I like taking something that and Dad, your practice was doing great. But the second practice in Mesa, at the time wasn't doing well. So going in and taking the challenge and bringing it to profit and doing well is super fun and rewarding.
That's the entrepreneur.
Yeah, that's part of your magic sauce. That's part of what you love to do. Was this just kind of your personality, or did you go to a training or CE that kind of helped you understand these things? Or
I think it's my personality because I like to get things done, and I always tell my kids, don't stop if it doesn't look like it can be done. Find another way because it can be done.
Right.
Don't give up.
Well, and we talked about the entrepreneurial, I hate that word, like the nature versus nurture, right? From your dad to you. How
Yeah.
do you think that echoed then down to your son who has 1,000 businesses? And he's like
It's interesting.
18.
Dylan, I didn't really think that they were seeing that side of me. But then Dylan was interviewed. Channel 12 News or something.
Oh.
And he gave me
just Channel 12.
He gave me a shout out. They said, who did you learn so much from? And he said, my mom. So once the tears were done flowing,
Obviously.
I said, Dylan, I'm a dentist. What did you learn from me? He said, Mom, you have 21 employees. And this is before the second practice. And you're such a boss mom. And it was so fun and exciting that my children were seeing that side of me.
That's special.
It is. It was really special because parenting's 24/7, as you know. And I'm trying to constantly educate and teach and use stories and implement morals and
God, that
class.
sounds exhausting.
And
Joe has to do it for like 40 of them.
The teaching is happening, even if you don't realize
and
it.
even
That's
if you
part of
don't
the
realize it.
trick,
And so
right?
they were watching, and he would see if he walked by and I was having a staff meeting. So it was really neat. So I think that they watch, even though I may not be doing it for business at that moment.
The exact same thing.
Yeah.
So tell us more about Ben. He's an incredibly motivated, entrepreneurial, driven young man. Tell us about STEMistry, what he's up to, and I've witnessed this concept firsthand. But tell us a little bit more.
Yeah.
What
So
is STEMistry?
STEMistry is a build your own flower bouquet bar and coffee bar.
It's incredible.
And
That is dope.
At 10, Dylan.
I'm sorry. Did you say 10?
10.
Okay.
He started, Hurricane Harvey was happening. Sadly, it had just occurred and it was really sad. It was on the news and we're as a family watching and just really sad. And next thing you know, Dylan started literally a 501c3 online and started a wildlife foundation, raised money, and he found a nonprofit. So I said, we're flying to Texas to go deliver this check. And my husband's like, you can't fly into they
hurricane
don't
zone.
want this. And I said, it's nice. And Dylan found somebody, and I don't want him just mailing a check. So we went, and they had their whole PR. They made a
Oh
big
my
check for
gosh.
him. And so then he started rescuing animals. Then COVID happened. He started 3D printing masks and face shields, and he started shipping them all over
Holy
the
cow.
country. So he started his second nonprofit.
This wasn't like a kid doing a lemonade stand in the front yard.
And he was also involved in politics at the time as well,
and
right?
he's getting in politics. So he started this online. He started selling on Etsy our landscape trimmings. And I'm like, who is buying olives? Everyone has an olive tree. He's like, not my customer in Connecticut. So he got rewarded, congratulations, you've shipped to all 50 states.
Wow.
And he saved up his money and started Stemistry at 15. He signed the lease. And he has two, one in Scottsdale, North Scottsdale, one in downtown Phoenix.
So sorry.
And so he just is opening a third.
Wow.
He's opening a third in South Scottsdale. And we're super excited for him.
So he transitioned to brick and mortar.
Brick and mortar. So supposedly
wild.
he's the youngest in the States, in the country, to open a brick and mortar store.
And what age was he when he did it?
15.
It wasn't driving. He wasn't driving.
Yes,
He was still going to school.
I was dropping him off, and he was interviewing and watching YouTube videos on how to interview. And he's hiring. And one of the questions are, how do you feel about being managed by a young entrepreneur? And he's had challenges for sure. So yes, so he's opening his third in this July.
Tell us about that. How did that happen? Because that's kind of a unique story.
That actually, the first he had a realtor, and we had a co-sign. The second one, he had to be interviewed by a board because it's owned by the city of Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to present to the board of 12. And it was really cool. He did research on the founders of the space, the building. And so when he presented to the board, he said, I love history and I want every drink to be named after a founder so that we can instill the history and everyone can be educated on the history of this building.
Cool.
I was in shock. I mean, who thinks of that?
At that age.
So I'm trying to think what else he had.
I'm thinking of a
he
15-year-old getting a realtor.
He also said, I want to take my TI money and put it into the foundation. So Dylan got the space in Phoenix. Then a year later, so his goal is every year reinvest in the company and open another one because there really is no concept of a flower coffee shop.
What does that sound like? V?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, unique concept.
In 15 years, it's going to be the new MB2.
Right.
So an apartment complex reached out to him and Dylan said, I'm not interested. Well, after 11 emails, he said, I'm a junior in high school. I have so much going on. I don't have time. I just opened a second. So they said, we'll do a turnkey. So they agreed. Dylan has an attorney. Dylan's attorney is amazing. He took Dylan. Actually, Dylan was a top 10 for Nickelodeon Time Magazine Kid of the Year 2020, and he needed an attorney. So this attorney represented Dylan and has been amazing. He's like our youngest client.
You're clearly a very proud mom, but you're also kind of nonchalant because I'm like, an attorney?
An attorney.
I wouldn't even know where to start, and I'm in my 30s.
Well,
he's in high school.
Thank gosh. Yeah. And then I have a daughter, Sammy, who's incredible and just so sweet and learns so much from Dylan. And I'm so fortunate that she has Dylan to teach her so much.
That is awesome.
And yeah.
That's special. So
yes.
How can folks learn more about Stemistry?
Yes, actually.
Because he's selling online still. He's an online presence.
You could read about Dylan at dylancapshaw.com. dylancapshaw.com or stemistry.com.
Awesome.
And that's STEMISTRY.com.
How cool. So we're going to have to take a field trip because Stemistry is awesome. I've only seen the first location.
And before it opened, Joe.
Yeah. That's right.
Would be really
I don't think
cool.
it
That's
opened.
Right.
Well, you both have scaled. I mean, you now have... you both scaled. You both are owning multiple locations. Tell
Yes,
us about that
that's-
transition.
That's the whole thing. I mean, he had 2 stores, and I was like, gosh, I gotta keep
Step
up with
it
my
up.
son. So
You're like, this is why I'm getting my third location.
Yes, exactly. So this opportunity came about for the second location, second practice, and I was nervous. And he said, "You got to do it. I can't even believe you're thinking about it." And I'm so excited with the second practice, and that's just MB2. I mean, I've always dreamed of having multiple practices, and it's something I've really wanted to do, but MB2 has given me the opportunity, and the confidence and the support in let's do it. And now I'm talking about a third. So it's easy with MB2 to make a dream or a wish a reality because they want you to succeed. They want to succeed.
Yeah, it's super cool to all of our partners have unique goals and desires, and whatever those goals are, we do our best to help support those. But we love having the Okunizers of the world that want multiple locations.
Thank you. It's so fun. But another thing with MB2, I feel safe with MB2. For instance, I have a question. Legal. I go to the app. Jack, great guy. Jake said Jack's a great guy. He got to know me quickly.
Jack Bird.
Jack Bird. Yeah. So anyway, find him, email him, ask a question. And I said, just when you have a second. And he called me. So there's so much with MB2, but I love the systems that they have in place. And that's one of the reasons why I chose MB2. Is they're so organized and they have so many systems in place. And if you have any questions, I mean, there is a department for every thought you may have. And that's amazing. That's what you need.
Yeah. When you look out at dentistry, how many of your fellow clinicians and practice owners do you think really understand that concept of systemizing and being efficient? And again, your term, Okunizing, how common is it?
Gosh, I would think it would be a little bit more common. I'm pretty neurotic. So, and I'm cool with it. I mean, it's okay. I've embraced it.
Yes.
I've embraced it. But I
get it.
think some dentists are neurotic. We want the systems, but then there's some
and
that
business
really,
owners.
yes, absolutely. But then there's some that want nothing to do with the business side. And that's why they would be excellent at partnering because MB2 could offer and help in so many ways. So when I try to tell them, I mean, the problem is I'm kind of like a cheerleader when I love something. I get very passionate about it. I mean, I have a jingle that will be probably on my voicemail.
Damn straight.
So I think there's no other company like MB2, for real.
As you're getting ready, to own a business, I think you bought a portion of your dad's practice before you bought him out completely.
Yes.
What do you feel like you wish you would have had as a resource stepping into business ownership? Because you'd been a dentist for a little while. You had the mentorship there. I guess your dad was probably, a good resource from an ownership lens. But what resources do you wish you had access to or that would have made the transition into ownership easier?
Yeah, I think just the accessibility to all the departments. One being, in the practice, Okun Dentistry is celebrating 50 years this year.
Oh, wow.
So
congratulations.
Thank you. We're super excited. And my father was an unbelievable mentor. I said, Dad, I am not graduating dental school and going into your practice and practicing on family and friends. Yeah. I want to go to a corporation and then come. And he said, no, because I want you to learn the right way. I'll mentor you. I'll teach you. I'll hone in on all your skills. Wow. And he was such a sharp businessman. My dad was really sharp. But it changes, And so that's more maybe somebody that could help transition with the current times.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And marketing, we never marketed once in 50 years.
Unreal.
That's incredible.
So that's where MB2 also, they help with marketing. You need this, we've got you.
Yeah. So you've got a great grounding in the history of dentistry. What do you see as the future of dentistry? Can you look
MB2.
out 10, 20 years?
No, honestly, I think that it's going to be corporate dentistry. So whether you like it or not, choose one that is like-minded, in my opinion, and MB2 is so like-minded with me. And there's so many options now. And one of my really good friends from dental school, I mean, she's hurting with one of the who she chose to sell to. And I hear a lot of stories. So I do feel it's going to be very corporate. And I hope that the majority is MB2 because the doctors have full autonomy.
Yep.
They're not being forced to treat patients differently or treat on a budget.
You get to still be boss mom.
Boss mom.
I love it.
I know.
Can I ask the fun question?
Oh, yeah. Of
Thank
course
you.
you.
Okay, so for our dentists that come in, our favorite question to ask is your craziest patient story.
Oh my gosh, I have one. This wasn't long
Yes,
ago.
I love this energy.
So this was probably 2 months ago, really. This is unbelievable. So I'm doing an anterior case, which are your front social sixth.
Thanks for breaking it down for
Yes.
us.
So,
Oh, she's already told me about my anteriors.
so
Last time I saw her, she's yelling at me for not wearing my mouth guard. But anyway, sorry.
exactly. So
I'm going to keep my mouth closed.
I am practicing. Well, this gentleman was sniffing a lot, but
Not the files.
not a little sniff. It was an aggressive, deep sniff. And it was throughout. So I wasn't sure if it was a nervous habit.
Can you show us that sniff one more time?
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Okay.
And it was
So it wasn't allergies. It was like,
It was a deep sniff.
Huffing.
Huff. And so I'm practicing, and my assistant's looking at me, and I'm trying not to look at my assistant because forget about it. Like I'm animated.
Forget about it.
So I am continuing working, and at the end, I'm just like, "Are you okay? Would you like some water? I'm fine. I'm, thumbs up." So I finish, super excited to be done. Set him up. Do you have any questions? Can I help you with anything? This is what's to be expected. And he goes, "I do have a question.
Oh, gosh.
What perfume are you
Oh my
wearing?"
gosh.
I could not smell enough of it, and I
Oh
want and.
my gosh.
I know, but
He
that's
was
why
huffing
he was
you.
huffing my wrists.
Like somebody huffing paint.
So he asked for me to Google it for him, and he put it in his phone. Yeah.
Well,
Uh-huh.
you need to start
Is
selling
he
that at
gonna-
the practice.
I should.
Sorry, I have follow-up questions. Is it for himself?
I
Maybe
don't
it's
know,
for like
Sarah.
he's
His
going to come in
pillow.
next time and he's going to be smelling like you.
Oh, that was a different one. That was probably the craziest.
I love that. Well,
But I have to tell you, in dental school, I did a residency at NYU, and we partnered with Bellevue Hospital. So we were in there, and this patient had never taken his upper denture out. I'm giving
Ever?
you 2 stories. Sorry about that.
No,
I
For
don't
the
follow
price
it.
one, we love it.
Yeah. So anyway, never. So I said, we need to get it out. And we're trying to get this upper denture out.
oh my
And
God.
we're having the hardest time. Well, we finally got it out with maggots full. It was so bad.
I'm done. We're done. This is the end.
Oh
This
my
is the end.
gosh, poor guy.
It was awful, Joe. He said he never took it out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I learned more than in my pathology book at NYU Bellevue Hospital.
I think this is the last time we ask that question.
That is a great dental school story.
Yeah, is that great?
I don't know if those stories happen these days, but unfortunately not. Dr. Okun, absolute blast to have you. Thank you for taking
Oh,
the time.
thank you. This was so fun.
Yeah, we really appreciate it. I know you went out of your way to do it. So thank you for
This
coming
was
on.
super
And
fun.
there's a lot of really great tidbits about entrepreneurship that I feel like our listeners will be able to take something from it. So we appreciate it.
We're gonna have to get Dylan back and maybe do a duo. with you guys
Yes,
sometime.
please.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be fun.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, guys. You're awesome. So much fun.
Thanks.
Great
I
to
think
see you,
so.
Dr.
Yeah,
Okun.
thanks.
Listeners, really appreciate you taking the time to join the MB2 Underground podcast. We will catch you next time.
Okay, bye.
Peace out.